Hi, I'm Sam Magnuson from the Knox College Sports Information Department, here with this year's men's basketball preview with Coach Rob Purlee. Coach Purlee, thank you for joining me this afternoon.
You're welcome.
Last year was your first season as the head coach of the Prairie Fire after being the associate head coach with Tim Hyman for one season and an assistant before that. What did you take away from last season, and what do you see are the keys to a turnaround this year?
Well, I think in regards to last year, probably the biggest thing that we found as we've gone back through it is that we made quite a few mistakes as a staff. We're just as responsible for that 2-21 as anybody is. We spent a lot of the year almost like a cat chasing its own tail. So what we've done is we've gone back and we've evaluated all of our games from last year and said what are the things that we really did a poor job of teaching, and then we've tried to make those a focal point in the beginning part of this year to make sure we're. I know that I make quite a few mistakes, but I'm not a guy that likes to make them more than once.
Okay.
So we're trying to correct those things that we did not do correctly the previous year.
Okay, good. Youth seems to be a constant theme for your ball club. Obviously, you're a young coach here at Knox, and going back to last year, your two leading scorers last year were a freshman, Ben Weatherby, a sophomore, Matt Godecki, and you don't have any seniors on your roster this year. Could you talk about a little bit about what your thoughts about having such a young team are, and who's taken on that leadership responsibility so far without any seniors?
Sure, it's a good question. Well, I think that the slogan for our group so far has just been watch us grow, because just like you said, no seniors. We got 15 guys right now, all of which we recruited, and it's a weird year for us in that we have so many guys coming back, as you mentioned with both Matt and Ben. We have a lot of players coming back that played a lot when they're young, but yet still nobody in that senior class. So we think we're going to be better, but I really feel like we're probably still a little bit too green.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong, and I'm looking forward to finding out the answer to that question.
Yeah. And as far as being green, you only had three guys, Ben Weatherby, Matt Godecki, which you just mentioned, and Alex Schobert, who are returning and had started more than 10 games last year for you. Yeah. So, that kind of what you were talking about. Who are you looking to kind of step up besides those three, this year, kind of play more minutes, more games started?
Well, I tell you, the guy that we've really liked so far in practice, two guys really. One's been Roger Ortiz, and Roger played quite a bit for us last year. Kind of came in and played off the bench for Clint, started a few games. He loves the game, and he plays it at a fast speed, so he likes some of the things he brings to the table. He's got to grow up. He's got to man up in a lot of ways, especially at the defensive end of the floor, and he's gonna be a big part of what we're going to do this year in terms of our success level. Another guy that's really done a good job through 2 weeks has been Ian Horvath, our freshman from Addison Trail High School. Ian did not play on a very good high school team, and he's gotten around some good players, some people that love the game as much as he does, and we've seen him really flourish in the last couple of weeks. So it's going to be fun to see him grow as well. And then I think on the block, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of steps both Joe Kozak, Alex Schobert, and Charlie Tokar take this year from year one to year two. Yeah.
All freshmen last year.
Yeah, and when Matt was here, he took a pretty big leap. He went from about 4 points a game as a freshman to almost 14 points a game as a sophomore. Really blew into that role. What kind of steps is Joe going to take? What kind of steps are Charlie going to take, and Alex? Are we going to see an improvement in their production like we saw with Matt from first year to second year? Yeah. All things that we don't have the answer to, but we're looking forward to finding out.
That's great. One more question about kind of last year's team, the transition this year. You lost your MVP from last year, Adam Estergaard, to graduation. He only averaged 6.4 points a game last year, but he was your leading rebounder and leading steals per game also. Right. And it kind of seemed like he was always the guy that made the big hustle play when you needed. Who are you looking to kind of fill his shoes in terms of rebounding, hustle, all around the floor? Or is it one guy, or is it kind of a group of guys that you're hoping to kind of step into that?
Yeah, I think in regards to Adam, we lost a guy that you could guarantee that you're going to get optimal effort from him, especially on game night. A guy that really, really played the game hard. That being said, I really feel like our younger guys all play hard. We've gotten to a point where I think that the number of people on the floor that will play as hard as they can possibly play is going to be higher than it's been in the past, and therefore you won't have one guy that stands out because of the hustle and the extra effort. I think anybody that comes and sees us play this year are going to see a lot of what we call Estergaard type plays. Guys getting on the floor, guys flying into the stands.
I like that.
It's just going to be a little bit of a trademark of what we do here, and we just feel like, I guess to answer your question, it won't be one or two guys that fill that role by Adam. I think you're going to see an entire ball club that does that.
Great. One more question I have. Last year, 7 of your first 9 games were on the road.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that was kind of tough, for you guys. This year, you do open on the road at Cornell College on November 16th. But after that, you have 6 straight games at home. Can you just talk a little bit about how big you think, having those games at home early in the season will be for your program, and how important it is to get off to a good start as far as the Midwest Conference is concerned?
Last year, I set us up to fail a little bit with that scheduling. I mean, that was murderer's row all the way through Christmas. And I don't know that I put us in a lot of successful situations because of the way we did the schedule. I don't want to say we learned from the mistake, because it was something that I wanted to do. I wanted us to get beat up a little bit and learn some lessons, because I knew that team wasn't going to be good enough to compete for championships. And this one right now might not be as well. But we think we're going to be it someday, and then sometimes you just have to go through those lessons. Okay. But with this year's schedule, there's no doubt about it that it's just vital for us to get off to a fast start and take advantage of these home games. Anytime you come off of a year where you don't have when you have the lack of success as we did last year, the faster you start, the better, because confidence is such an iffy thing with kids this age. And if we can get off to a fast start with those home games, I can't help but think it'll just really springboard us into December and January.
Perfect. Anything else you would like to talk about this season, or you think? It seems pretty optimistic.
Yeah,
overall.
I mean, we tend to be pretty optimistic in October, November, and pretty pessimistic when it comes to February, I guess. But we'll see. We're still just really, really young, and we're making a lot of young mistakes. I think the difference from this year to last year is going to be, I think the definition of frustration sometimes is the difference between expectation and reality. And we probably put unfair expectations on some of our upperclassmen last year. We wanted them to play at a level that they just weren't capable of playing, and we should have known that instead of expecting them to deliver at that level. So we've kind of taken a different approach this year. We're certainly going to hold them to high standards and hold them accountable for their mistakes, but at the same time, we're not going to expect them to play at levels that they're not capable of playing. And I think that's going to make for a little bit smoother ride this year. And that's important for this group, because with no seniors, this is a team that's going to be together for a while. So we got to make sure that we grow together, and in a way that we can all stand each other for this long ride, because it will be a long one.
Perfect. All right, Coach Purlee, thank you so much for joining me. And once again, that is this year's men's basketball preview.